Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of The Poor Investor. Today we're going to be going over, is chia worth farming? Asking ChatGPT a couple of questions in regards to all this and figuring out if the answers that they provide is sufficient enough. And one of the questions I'm going to ask is chia farming damaging hard drives or SSD or whichever the case is that you want to call it? But of course, this is not going to be a very intense, back and forth with questioning to ChatGPT. But of course, you can take that and utilize it yourself because ChatGPT is a free, interface that you can all use, unless you decide to pay for the upgrade to the Plus, and that's like an extra $20 a month. And supposedly, you get faster responses, and you won't be left out in the congestion when it's too overwhelming, and access to the website will be a little more smoother. I don't know how much $20 really gets you because I'm not at that point where I'm utilizing ChatGPT too much, but let's go over to the screen so we can see what I'm talking about. So here I can show off one of the first questions that I've asked. I actually asked a few just to see what we were going to get, but then I said, you know what, let me start recording and get a feel for what you guys think. All right, so here's the first question. Does farming chia kill SSD? And I could regenerate this response. Farming chia involves writing and reading data from hard drives over an extended period of time, which can put significant amount of wear and tear on the drive. While solid-state drives, SSDs, are generally more durable and faster than traditional hard drives, they can also be subject to wear and tear over time, particularly if they are used for heavy workloads such as chia farming. Just taking that first paragraph, and a lot of you guys, if it wasn't for this ChatGPT, it's a lot of debates, right? Going back and forth. Public websites have put out where chia kills hard drives, and you guys would argue that point. Well, I mean, hard drives are on, it's spinning, it's not accessed all the time, but someone coming into chia and asking ChatGPT this question is very generic, but there's not a lot of details behind it either. So you have to kind of take this with a grain of salt. You can't say, oh, ChatGPT is pretty accurate for the most part, but not entirely, because there's a bigger picture to it. All right? So that was just one question I asked, and very generic questions I was asking, and I want to see if I'm able to. I can't even hit the up arrow to bring that back up, but there's going to be a few more questions, and I'm not showing my face on the website is because I want you guys to concentrate on the ChatGPT side, and the questions and answered, opposed to looking at my face and because I'm actually lazy and I had to reset my whole machine. So that's why I don't have it all configured properly right now. So that's my excuse. All right. So anyway, let's go into the next question. Is chia farming worth the effort? Whether or not chia farming is worth the effort depends on a variety of factors, such as your hardware setup, electricity costs, and long-term investment strategy. Farming chia involves dedicating hard drive space to the chia network and participating in the proof of space, proof of time consensus algorithm. The amount of chia you can earn from farming depends on several factors, such as the amount of hard drive space you dedicate to the network, the difficulty of the network, and the price of the chia on the market. Well, I guess, yeah, they're right. An advantage of chia farming is that it does not require specialized hardware or high energy consumption. Now this is where it's confusing, okay, which can make it more accessible to wider ranges of users. However, it does require significant resources such as large amount of hard drive space and processing power. Okay, see, that's a little contradicting, right? Because it says that farming does not require a specialized hardware. I mean, I guess it's not specialized, right? Hard drives are not specialized. You just need a whole large quantity of them, and processing power. So large amount of processing power. Not necessarily true either, because now there's a factor of GPU. So I'm not sure where ChatGPT is gathering this information from, because it seems a little dated in my opinion. So again, take this however you want, but if you were to get into Chia right now and you ask ChatGPT, it may not be reflected on the very day that you're asking. It seems a little dated because all it mentions is hard drives and processing power. But when it says processing power, is very broad. It's not mentioning GPU specifically, nor is it mentioning CPU specifically. So you have to kind of figure that out on your own. And we're gonna ask ChatGPT another question, and maybe that will clarify some of the things. Additionally, it's important to consider long-term outlook of for Chia as a cryptocurrency, or whether or not you believe in the potential of growth and adoption in the future. Like all cryptocurrency, the value of Chia can be highly volatile and subject to various market factors and events. That is true. That goes for every crypto out there. Overall, whether or not Chia farming is worth it depends on your individual circumstances and energy investment strategy. I was going to say energy strategy. It's important to carefully evaluate the potential risk and benefits before deciding dedicating resources to Chia farming, and to stay up to date on the latest development and trends in the cryptocurrency market. Okay. Can we farm Chia with GPU? Chia farming is primarily a storage intensive process, such as it does not currently support GPU mining. This is, ladies and gentlemen, where I'm telling you that the information where ChatGPT is gathering any of this is inaccurate, right? So let's see. Actually, no. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. I spoke too soon. Second paragraph and third paragraph kind of leads us into it. However, the plotting process used to generate the cryptographic key and data structure needs for Chia farming can benefit from the use of GPU. Plotting involves performing a large number of complex calculations, such as generating random numbers and performing encryption operations, which can be accelerated by using specialized hardware such as GPU. By using a GPU accelerated plotting setup, users can potentially generate Chia plots more quickly and less energy consumption than using a standard desktop computer or server. Interesting. While plotting with a GPU can be advantageous for generating Chia plots, it is important to note that this does not affect the actual farming process, which remains primarily a storage-intensive process. Therefore, while a GPU can be useful for Chia plotting, it is not currently possible to farm Chia using GPU mining. So, ladies and gentlemen, I take that all back. ChatGPT seems to be on top of it, as long as you know how to ask the right questions. And when I say ask, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it and enunciating it right. A lot of people say ax, A-X, or ask, A-S-K, all right? A-S-K, ask. As long as you're directing the right words towards ChatGPT, and you're putting it where it can understand it and elaborate more and give you more details, it will. But if you generalize it, like, is Chia worth it? It gives you a whole list of very generic responses. So you have to know what you're asking in order to get what you want to find out more in details. It's almost like, unfortunately, if you go to the car mechanic and you don't tell them anything, it's going to be very broad. Like, do you hear anything? Does the car start? But if you get more detailed, like, there's a ping in my engine, and they start focusing on the details of where that part is possibly coming from. And that's what ChatGPT is really all about. It's artificial intelligence, right? So that it has to build upon it. And one of the features that is on ChatGPT is that you can, thumbs up, thumbs down, and I guess it'll take that all into factor of, is that a good response that you receive? So let's go back to the screen, like right here. This is provide additional feedback. Would you like to, what would you like about, what do you like about the response? It's accurate, right? And up to date with the GPU factor for plotting Chia. All right, I'll just put it like that. I thought it was very useful. So I asked how many questions that I put in here. Oh, is gigahertz plotting okay? This is another one, right? Because I actually put more questions prior. So now let's go a little deeper, right? So we know about we could farm with Chia with GPUs. So is giga right gigahertz plotting better for Chia? Let's see what that says. Gigahertz plotting is a specialized form of plotting, a CHIA plotting that utilizes multiple high-end graphics cards, GPUs, to accelerate the plotting process. By using multiple GPUs, gigahertz plotting can potentially generate CHIA plots more quickly and with less energy consumption than using a standard desktop computer or server. And that's, in the very beginning, that was very debatable, but JM has come on and did his videos about how gigahertz or GPU plotting and farming will be a little bit more energy efficient than using just primarily CPU processing. Of course, you guys were, you could debate that because I think it needs to speak in volume. One for one, I think there's going to be like very if you were just doing one plot at a time and utilizing maybe the highest compression level compared to creating a plot on a single CPU, I don't know how that level, right? That one level is who's going to benefit more. But when you're doing thousands of plots, or even like hundreds of plots, or thousands and like 10,000s of plots at a single time, maybe GPU becomes it becomes a time where it's more efficient than utilizing CPUs, because then you would need that many more CPUs to generate the same amount of plots. Let's just say 1,000 equally, right? Where GPUs can do it every 3 to 5 minutes, CPUs would take longer and more power to generate the plots, and it'll take you a longer time. And throughout that time frame, the plots will consume more energy because it's taking longer, right? So if you're using a CPU, like for myself, or for instance, it's taking me almost an hour, so that's why the energy consumption would be more, because of the time frame it's taking to get to that point. All right, so let's see what else we can ask over here. This was one question. Let's see, Chia XCH price right now. Okay, so it cannot pull market data information from any exchanges, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, or coin. I wouldn't say exchanges, but just coin pricing websites. Let's call it that. Let's ask one of the other questions I wanted to see. So we basically asked, is CHIA farming worth it? And it told us about the hardware. Let's see what else we have. Gigahertz, we went into details. We can plot and farm CHIA with GPUs apparently, but unfortunately, in regards to the hard drive aspect of it, there is wear and tear. So you have to be cautious of the equipment, the type of equipment that they're telling you to purchase, because cheaper hardware won't last as long as good hardware, and that comes at a cost as well. Let's ask this one. Is it a good idea to use second-hand hard drives for CHIA farming? Interesting. All right, let's go. Using second-hand hard drives for CHIA farming can be a cost-effective way to increase your storage capacity and potential increases your chance of earning CHIA rewards. However, there are some risks associated with using second-hand hard drives, particularly with regraded to their reliability and longevity. When using second-hand hard drives, it's important to carefully inspect, test the drives before using them for CHIA farming. To be honest, I probably wouldn't even give two shits about testing. How would I test? It's more like how long it would last in the long term. The short term, probably won't do much. If you plug in a hard drive and it doesn't power on, chances are you got a shitty hard drive, so it's not going to make much difference. So that you could test it, but how much can you really test unless you're plotting to it and you're throwing it on the farm and letting it sit there through time? That's the only time you can. That's the test itself. And plus, even if you lose that drive, even after you plot it, yes, you spent time on it, but you're not. It's nothing critical, right? So you could just easily replace them with new plots on a different hard drive. All right, let's go back. Look for any signs of physical damage, such as scratches or dents. Okay, checks. That's true. You see any physical damage, it has a high likely that it was pretty abused. Smart data to ensure that it's functioning correctly. It's also a good idea to perform full drive scans to check any potential errors or defects. That's a good idea. I mean, you could scan for bad blocks, because if you got bad blocks, it's not going to write correctly. It's important to note that using secondhand hard drives for CHIA farming can potentially increase the risk of drive failure, which can result in data loss and reduced farming rewards. Additionally, secondhand hard drives may have reduced lifespan and endurance compared to new drives, which can impact their long-term reliability. If you decide to use secondhand hard drives for CHIA farming, it's important to ensure that you have adequate backup and redundancy measures in place to protect your data and to minimize the risk of downtime or lost farming rewards. Now, that last paragraph, I probably would not really care much. I would not have any type of backup. I would not have any type of redundancy, not for the drives itself, but maybe for the system. And when I say the system, that's really more of the current database that you have. There's a lot of people coming on to CHIA for the first time, syncing weeks, of the database because it's gotten so far. It's 2 years. So imagine as time keeps on going on. Even though there was a compression to the database initially, maybe there'll be another compression to the database and it wouldn't be as difficult to sync up with the network, and people have been getting scammed out of their XCH because they were downloading these fake or malicious databases that claim to be the actual databases from a certain point in time. So that in regards to redundancy is fine, but no one should ever, in my opinion, raid these plot drives because you're just wasting space on having redundant plots. It's not like you can farm on them either. So utilizing each drive for unique sets of plots is probably more beneficial than having redundancy and mirroring whatever it is that you have existing. So there you go with that. I haven't picked a winner on this particular video, but I will be doing that soon once I jump back on my normal PC. When I say normal, it's the one that I usually work out of. This one is more of an ad hoc, and you guys probably haven't seen me come from this side for a while now. I do have my GPUs behind me mining Casper right now, just to keep warm because it's a little chilly, so I turned it up the heat for a little bit. Nothing long term, but I'm going to end it here, and I hope you enjoyed this ChatGPT. I'll probably be utilizing this more often if I have certain questions, and instead of me trying to dig for it, ChatGPT has done all the work for us. All right, I want to thank you guys for being here, and please remember to hit that like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye.